Welcome to Sivako, the road to Avatar. I am Shaun Alexander, and I will be your guide to the world of Pandora and beyond. And today I have a very special guest with me. So, special guest, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi everybody. My name is Jerry. I run the Discovering Pandora YouTube channel, where I cover news, theories, and pretty much anything and everything Avatar.
And it's so great to have you on. It's been too long as well. I should have had you on sooner than this, I feel like. But I feel like this topic's such a juicy one for us to cover today.
Yeah, I'm excited.
So, as I do with all my guests, I ask a few little questions. The first of which is, when did you first see Avatar?
See, I saw it opening day. That's a funny story. I saw it twice in the span of the first 24 hours that it was out. Um, the
That's
f-
commitment.
I yeah, I was already kind of obsessed with it before it came out. So I knew family was going to be in town for Christmas, so I bought it. I just had a job. I bought everybody their ticket for the IMAX 3D showing on opening day, which was great and amazing. It's still my favorite theater experience I've ever had. But I was so impatient that I had to catch the midnight showing literally the night before because I was just so impatient. And I regret that I did because it wasn't even in 3D. But you know what? I still got to see it twice in 24 hours, so that's my little story for that.
Hey, that's cool. And to be fair, I have done the twice in 24 hours thing before. I did do it for The Force Awakens. I saw it midnight screening, and then I saw it straight after work. So when I was so tired by the end of the second
Right?
screening, I would just I might as well not have gone to the second one because I don't even think I was fully aware of what was happening.
Yeah. Yeah, you were just so excited, man.
Yeah, that's it. And yeah, I've got a feeling I could be reaching the same levels for Way of Water later this year.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
So next up is, what is your favorite moment from Avatar?
My favorite moment, and it's not one that really happened to me, but it's because I associate it with that viewing. But it's for my mom, who's like, you know, older. She doesn't speak English, but it's the moment Jake bonds with the Banshee for the first time, and they do the first flight. Because like, she always like that's the first. If I ever bring up Avatar, she recalls that moment because she recalls that she feels like she was flying, like literally flying. So it's the first scene that comes to mind in my favorite just because of that, because like it transcended everything. Like she didn't even need to understand like language wise the movie, and it still affected her. So that's why that's like my favorite scene for that reason right there.
Man, that's beautiful, honestly, and I think it's shows sort of like the effect the film can have, where it doesn't language isn't a barrier for this sort of film, and I think that's a credit to James Cameron as a filmmaker. So finally, is how excited are you for The Way of Water? I feel like this is a very silly question to ask you at this point. I feel like most people will know how excited you are.
Right? It really excited to the point where it's basically the reason why I even have like a YouTube channel and all this, because I was like, I know I'm gonna obsess just like the way I did for the first one before that release, but this time I was like, let me kind of like join the conversation, right before, at least the last few months before the movie comes out, and just kind of like put my own 2 cents. I was looking at the YouTube space and I was like, there's not many of them around. So, and I was just so excited. So yeah, definitely I'm super pumped and I cannot wait for the Way of Water.
I was going to say as well, like it's really fun to see that with yourself, we've got Avatar guy as well, and it's and drinking in Pandora, and we've sort of got our own little group together now, and it's sort of nice to see that growing and expanding in a way.
Exactly. And I didn't even think that was really going to be the case, especially maybe not like right away. I was hopeful because out of all the fandoms that I saw from the outside looking in, this one like that. It did seem like the nice, filled with the nicest people. There was none of the discourse that right now is like plaguing almost every other fandom. But really, like, honestly, like, just these few months that I've been a part of it, everybody has been so inviting, so, nice. And it's just like, it's cool that there's this little pocket, of of social media or the internet that's like this. So it's like, it's really been amazing. In our little group, it's been super fun.
Yeah, I was. This was the sort of like the highlight for me is that I've made like a little friend group from this, and I didn't expect that. I honestly wasn't sure what would happen with this podcast. It could have easily have just been I tried it for a couple of weeks and no one had any interest, but clearly people want to know more, and people are really getting on board with things like this. And I think you've seen that as well with your videos.
Exactly, exactly. And for a long time you felt probably the fandom was dormant, or there weren't many people. But honestly, it's like you kind of just see them coming out of everywhere. Like, they've been there. It's just, these last few years it's been a little tough with delays and everything, but we're starting to see, even with that first trailer, first 24 hours, like close to 150 million views, which more than even some of the recent Star Wars movies in like the first 24 hours. So it's good to see. It's good to see, man.
Yeah. And that gets us nicely onto today's topic, which is we're covering the D23 preview. So, this upcoming weekend, we have D23, the big event for Disney, basically their own Comic Con, which kind of shows you how far Disney's come, but they can host their own version of it. And we are bound to get something Avatar themed. So I'll start off by saying, what is your biggest hope to see from D23 for Avatar content?
Really, it's kind of like, I just hope to see the start of kind of like the market, the full swing on the marketing. Because I believe, it could just be me, but I believe this is probably one of the most important weekends in the Avatar fandom community in like years, probably. Because we did have the initial teaser, but this should be the first one where we not only hear more about the sequel and more about like the remaster, but you finally have new merchandise. You're getting in action figures and who knows what else. Maybe we could theorize on different merchandise, but I believe it's finally going to be the weekend where it's like, it's really put out there, like, Avatar is back. So at least to me, I feel like, I just hope that it is like the start of this huge marketing push to get Avatar back out there.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we'll start off by we'll go through what we're supposedly going to be getting day by day. So to begin with, on the Friday, it's a lot more Disney based stuff. But the one thing I know that we're meant to be getting is there is a Disney Games showcase, which means we might be getting something for Frontiers of Pandora, which I don't know about you, but I'm pretty excited for.
Oh man, it was like right below the movie. It's it's right there. It's my number two most anticipated, because I'm like, come on, an open world game where you just can freely explore Pandora, and it's with these type of graphics with next gen. Sold, man, sold.
Yeah, I feel you on that. I'm sort of in my head been like, as soon as that game comes out, I might have to figure out how to get into streaming a bit more because I'm gonna want to play that game constantly. I feel like because it's something. It feels like the world's been begging for a game like that for a while now, and obviously we've had the other video games which do the whole open world thing, but to be in Pandora just feels perfect, like a perfect combination.
Yeah, exactly. And a great escape, especially when aside from Nintendo, and my favorite is PlayStation right now, but you get so many games that it's like, they're not really, they're just dark, they're violent, they're everything, where it's like, maybe sometimes you kind of want to escape to something a little more peaceful, because you just, you maybe came from like a hard day at work or something, and for me, it's like, aside from maybe going to Nintendo and doing like a Zelda or a Pokemon or something, you can't really find many of those games. And even though there will be, kind of tension there with the RDA, it'll just be great to kind of be able to escape, you know, uh, to Pandora in a video game sense, where it's like we watch it because it's an escape from our reality right now. It's like the super tranquil place. It's amazing. So to be able to do a video game version of that, I feel like we kind of need something like that in the video game space right now.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a little bit of a shame that it's coming out next year because originally the release date was going to be, I think, November, if I remember correctly, and it would have been such a like a lovely little stopgap before the movie came out. But I can get the reasoning behind it because I've got a feeling there's going to be some Way of Water fit stuff inside Frontiers of Pandora.
Exactly. They did say they'll support it for many years, so that's why I was like also super excited, because I'm like, okay, that means we get a new movie. We can kind of get like a new expansion after the movie, including like new elements or creatures or biomes. So I'm like, oh, the potential of it is like, it's like through the roof. So, but like you said, I rather than maybe delay it and deliver like a really amazing game, because recently with games that kind of launch a little too soon, they kind of arrive like DOA.
Mm. Oh, Cyberpunk's the one that always stands out to me. That one had such a rough opening. I remember the
Oh
complaints,
god,
and I saw so many like bugged out versions where it was like
I was so excited for that game.
I had it as well, and I got it. I think I got it in the November, and it was still buggy then, and that it had been out for 3 4 months at that point. So it's sort of crazy to me that they even released it when they did.
Yeah, that's insane. So it next year, I can wait till next year to not have any of those types of bugs. Hopefully.
Yeah, that's it. I'm more than happy to wait. We're we're getting a whole new movie this year. That's plenty enough for us to
Yeah, right,
and a
right. We
remaster.
can't be too greedy.
I know, right? Let's spread out the love a bit, you know. Um, so the reason we know, well, we're predicting that we're going to get something for Frontiers of Pandora is because there was a little trailer for a bunch of the games that they're going to be showcasing, and Frontiers of Pandora was part of that. So I've got a feeling it means we're probably at least getting another trailer and maybe some gameplay footage would be nice because so far it's been all sort of cutscene slash non in-game footage.
Yeah, like
I'm
they
looking
call that
forward to
like
seeing I'm looking forward to seeing what it looks like as you play.
exactly. Yeah. So I hope so. Um, I'm hoping that the delay didn't like they already have that trailer put up, and then the delay happened later, and then now they're not going to show anything. So I hope, even if it is delayed till next year, just like you said, give us like a little taste, just something to get us till then.
Yeah, I think that's it. If we imagine if we got a date as well, perfect. You know, that's giving us plenty more than we need.
Exactly. Yeah.
So that takes us on to the Saturday, which is where the big stuff comes in. On at 10 a.m. at the Studio Showcase, they are doing announcements for Marvel Studios, Lucasfilm, and 20th Century Studios, which Avatar falls under the latter of those. So let's start off. We'll start with chronological. The remaster is the first thing that's coming out. What do you think we're going to get in terms of remaster?
For sure. A date when tickets go on sale, because I believe that's probably why they've been holding out for now. Because if I'm not mistaken, right now you cannot purchase tickets for it. So hopefully that, and then maybe hopefully some information on like what's like a special treat, that can entice people to come watch the remaster. Hopefully with some kind of sneak peek at Avatar 2. So I'm kind of anticipating some kind of news like that. What about you?
Yeah, I think I'm along the same lines. I think definitely some more information on, what else we're getting. I feel like it's going to have something at the end, like a sizzle reel. They used to do this for Star Wars when they did like Force Awakens, and I think they did it for each of them. But they did like a mixture which was behind the scenes footage mixed in with a bit of the footage from the film as a nice little taster. And I always really enjoyed those ones because it showed the sort of the work that's going in behind the scenes, and I love seeing anything like that. And I feel like for Avatar it's going to be so juicy to get anything behind the scenes for it.
Oh man, I'm a behind the scenes junkie. Like I feel like I watch behind the scenes of the movies more than I've ever like watched the movies themselves. Lord of the Rings, um
Oh, those
King
Lord of the
Kong.
Rings ones are so good though.
Oh my, those are probably number one. And honestly, it's probably very underrated. But after Lord of the Rings, when Peter Jackson tackled King Kong, he did hours and hours. Like if you can buy the Blu-ray now for like $10, and there's still some like they're so fun because they go into the minutia, like everything, the little details on like the animal droppings and like in the ship on their way to just Skull Island, just everything you learn about every movie department. So I probably learned so much from movie making from Peter Jackson's both the Lord of the Rings and just like the King Kong ones. So I love behind the scenes, and they don't do them that often anymore, man. I hate that.
I know, it's such a shame. The best we've get is that Disney have been on Disney Plus. They have those the making of. So they did it with like Mandalorian, and they've been doing it a lot with the Marvel movies. And I've got a feeling they've got to do it with the Avatar stuff because it's gonna be there's so much to discuss and there's so much new technology. And how is what better way to get people excited for all that new technology than showing it on screen in some way?
Yeah, exactly. And even backing up a little bit, I'm hoping because there's Disney Plus Day the day right before D23 starts. So like September 8th on Thursday is Disney Plus Day, where they're
Mm.
gonna have announcements on all kinds of things on Disney Plus. I'm hoping maybe some kind of special like that, like we're saying, a behind the scenes special. Maybe, of course, not of Avatar 2 because they usually wait until after the product is out, but like a new retrospective documentary on Avatar 1, because there's so many people, especially with the remaster coming out, they'll maybe want to learn, hey, how was this made? And it'd be fun to take another look at it, especially for like that, like people that never even looked at the behind the scenes or watched those documentaries on the extended edition.
Yeah, that's it. That's you're opening that up to a whole new audience. I mean, I wouldn't mind if they did like a special on Pandora, Animal Kingdom. I think that would be really good, like a behind the scenes like making of that. I know they did that in some of the behind the attraction making of Walt Disney World, but I think like a specific one about Pandora would be fantastic because there's a lot to delve into there.
Because there's, yeah, like you said, there's so many opportunities to push the movie that was, the movie that's coming out, like you said, the whole land that's at one of their parks that it's they were kind of ridiculed, sorry, for making at the time, because everybody was like, what are you doing, like spending all this, these millions of dollars on a dead franchise. Because at the time, like, oh, this is your answer to Universal's. At the time they had the whole Hogwarts and they were pushing Harry Potter, and that was like, oh my god, this is like better than Disney. But so that's why when people say, oh no, it's in Disney's hands now, I'm like, wait a minute, this was the company that believed in this franchise, back in 20, even before 2017. That's when it launched, but it was in the works for years. When everybody else was like, oh no, don't touch that franchise, it's dead. You know what I mean? But yeah, so many opportunities for Disney Plus specials and stuff.
So, in regards to the remaster as well, I think you're right. Tickets, the date that's going to be coming out, it's bound to. I also think the announcement's going to come that the trailer will be on the front of Avatar. So the trailer for The Way of Water, like a full trailer,
Yeah.
it's looking likely at this point. We had with a message in our group chat like 5 minutes before we started this recording, basically saying, "Yeah, looks like it's gonna be coming like during that time." So it's looking unlikely we're gonna get the trailer to the public, like to the wider public, for The Way of Water.
Yeah.
But those in attendance will get to see it first, which is very exciting for them. I'm very
Yeah.
jealous. I'm trying to figure out how I can get to D23 within the next week. That's definitely not happening. um, which just makes me really hungry for, you know, finding out what information we can from it.
But you know, that's gonna be exciting still. Kind of seeing everybody's reaction to it that were in attendance, and it'll kind of give that aura to it again, kind of like that first teaser when it was shown at CinemaCon, and it kind of blew people away, and then it was like, oh, and then it's gonna be attached to Doctor Strange, so you got to go see that in order to see it, and then hopefully for a lot of us, it was like seeing the teaser on the big screen for the first time. Man, that blew me away, and in 3D. It was the only reason I saw Doctor Strange in 3D, because I was like, I need to see the trailer for Avatar: The Way of Water the way I'm gonna watch it, in 3D.
This is the thing: is I desperately want to watch that trailer for the first time in a cinema. But I'm also I'm so bad in terms of as soon as I hear there's a leak, and it's really bad. I shouldn't, but I can't help myself. So there'll probably be
I'm
like
gonna
a
be in
cam
that
rip
same
of
boat,
it.
man.
There'll be a cam rip of it, and I'll be like, I'm not gonna watch it. I'm not gonna watch it while I'm immediately watching it, loading it up.
Oh man, and
But
and
then
people have
this
brought
is
that
the
up to.
curse for us now, isn't it? This is the curse for us that we need to be like first to it.
Exactly, that's what people have brought up. They're like, is the movie gonna be like, as special to you, because if you report on every little thing, you're kind of gonna have to, in order to report, we kind of have to be exposed to everything that comes out, like every little morsel of information. But I've always said, at the end of the day, seeing a James Cameron film, even if you know everything about it, there's a whole different experience and a whole different magic to like watching a James Cameron movie on the screen for the first time, even if you know plot details. You know what I mean? Because they can't describe every the. Honestly, that first time I saw Avatar, I wouldn't even know how to describe, aside from some plot points, like what it did, visually. So, I still hold on to that little that little thing.
You also got to think James Cameron's films generally they spoil the whole movie in the trailer. This has gone back from Terminator times. Terminator 2's trailer immediately spoils the twist of Arnie coming back as the good guy, despite the fact that's like played as like a twist in the movie. But everyone already knowing it, so maybe it's not a bad thing to already know sort of like here's your plot points, and then you could just go along for the ride. And I think it's the film's going to be 3+ hours long. You're not going to know everything, even if you watch every teaser, if you watch every little trailer spot, everything. You're not going to get all the information.
Exactly. That's a great point that you bring up. Because usually that's how we experience most, like, super anticipated movies. We're so concentrated on like every little plot detail, and we're super focused on it. Like you said, maybe if you know a few things, you can kind of ease up a little bit and kind of take in the experience a little bit more than on that first viewing, when you know nothing and you're just kind of like, just sitting there just trying to analyze every little plot detail. You don't really get to marinate in it. So that's a great point, man.
You know what? If I think about when I went to see Endgame midnight premiere, I wish I'd known some more of those plot details in it, in a way. Like, I wish I'd known about Fat Four, Smart Hulk, and things like that. Because when I was watching it, midnight premiere, you're tired already, and this sort of stuff's happening on the screen. I've honestly thought I was ill because didn't understand what was happening. So I kind of wish I had some of that stuff spoilt for me beforehand, so I knew what to expect going in a bit more and could actually enjoy it a little bit more at the first time round.
But then again, that's why we get those second, third, fourth viewings. So
Yeah, that's it. Maybe that's it. That's how they get you in for some more.
at least that's the excuse I give myself.
On the day, we're expecting the attendees will be getting the viewing of the first trailer. The teaser was previous; we've already seen that.
Yeah.
The first full trailer. So
Yep.
we're also expecting that there'll be some representation from the film there. I'm assuming it seemed a bit weird to show the trailer without anyone there for it. Um, so, who do you know what? Who's your top three that you'd want to see in attendance?
I believe the top one for sure because he shows up to every event. It's the producer, John Landau. I'm still hesitant to say that James Cameron himself, because for every event recently, he's been doing those. He might do kind of like with CinemaCon. Sorry, he also did like a Zoom call from New Zealand. So if anything, maybe he'll do like a special message for the people in attendance. But physically there, I see John Landau, and I guess the stereotypical thing would be to say Sam Worthington and Neytiri, Jake and Neytiri. I mean, Sam Worthington and Zoe Saldana. But yeah, but I kind of hope some of the young cast, for people to kind of get a little vibe of them, like they're in their real personality. So I hope some of the young cast get to show up.
Yeah, I'd love for the younger cast to get along for this ride because I also think you can put Sigourney Weaver with them as well, and I think it'll make such an interesting dynamic on stage because obviously they'll do a little Q&A sort of thing, and then there's going to be the obvious question of, so Sigourney, you're playing a child.
Exactly.
And these events are always fun, and I really hope it does get released to the wider public later at some point. Most of these do at some point or the other. Whether it's, I could see it maybe getting released post the re-release once the full trailer's released.
Yeah, it'd still be great to kind of go back and just watch it, even though we have already read what happened. It's still kind of fun to go back. I sometimes watch when they finally do reveal like the Comic-Con panels that did happen, behind closed doors at the moment in Hall H, but a few months later you can kind of watch the panel. They're still fun to watch.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because there's things that when you read them and how they're written, it's totally different to the way they're spoken in the room, and I think that makes such a difference in terms of what we understand moving forward. There's different ways to interpret it depending on how someone says a thing. So outside of our movies, we're expecting some announcements in terms of merchandise as well. So the first one I want to start with is Lego. I'm guessing we're going to be getting some full details on the Lego sets that we've already have the details on. I think a few of them are up for pre-order, but not all of them, which is a bit odd.
Yeah, because they all have the same release date.
Yeah, that's it. From my talk, you'll be able to listen to a talk with me and Lego designers on Monday, 12th of September. By the way, guys, look forward
Oh
to
man,
that
I can't
one.
wait for that one.
I've got it set as a premiere, so that'll be good for everyone to come on and have a little listen on the day. But they're meant to be coming out 1st of October in store then, so that'll be great. Good thing to look forward to. But also, I'm assuming we'll maybe get some information on some future sets of Lego as well. So maybe we're seeing some vague The Way of Water sets. I'm not saying they're going to be very plot heavy. I hope not, because Lego has a habit of spoiling movie plots.
Yeah, I was gonna say I hope not. I hope not, because for at least for a lot of the Marvel movies recently, their leaks have come from right away. It's Lego sets. Even for this Black Panther 2.
The main one I always remember is Captain America: Civil War, where they had Giant Man in it. So, to make it even more obvious, Ant Man was about to go huge.
Exactly. But yeah, I mean, I can't wait to see some of those the Way of Water sets. Because you're gonna get the land ones with the first movie, and I still love that we didn't just go straight into the second movie. I love that they're still giving the first movie like it's its own thing. It's kind of like like a reincarnation, or it's coming back. It's kind of like a premiere with the remaster. It's finally getting its first Lego sets and then some other merchandise. So I love that everything we've seen first, it's gonna be like stuff from the first movie. Cause there's probably plenty of fans that wanted Lego sets from it throughout the years, or action figures. We got a few of them when it first came out, but any of these other merchandise. So I love we didn't just skip straight into the second movie.
Yeah, that's it. Absolutely. I think it's almost shown respect to it in a
Yeah,
way, which I
there
don't
you
think
go.
it got the respect it deserved when it first came out, which is odd to say for the movie that made the most money ever. Uh, but it didn't ever
Yeah.
feel like it got that merchandising respect that it should have done.
See, and that's what I've heard from them. Like, I heard John Landau, the producer, talk about that. If if any regrets he has about the first movie, it's not the movie itself. It's that they didn't really plan ahead to have a kind of like that, like a little push, like after the movie with a lot of merchandise. They had like a few games, and then like that first initial action figure line, but that was pretty much it. But he says, he wishes there was like ancillary books and like encyclopedias and art books or more stuff, and that they were not going to be making them that mistake twice. So that's what has me like really pumped to see all this merchandise at D23.
So the other one that we're expecting to hear news from as well is Mcfarland Toys. We've got some bits and pieces from them so far. From what I remember, we've got a couple of Ikrons, and I think we've got a couple of action figures as well. Is that right?
Exactly. Yeah, we've seen the Jake action figure revealed, and then we saw the two banshees. We saw Seze, and we also saw Jake's banshee, which with the placeholder name of Bob.
We're still everyone's got to call him Bob. It's going to be stuck
It's
now,
just gonna stick from
unfortunately,
now on. Yeah,
and that's okay. Look, he would call it Bob. It's not out of character.
exactly. Like I believe Todd McFarlane just thought of that on the spot. But if you really think about it, I'm like, yeah, you know what? Jake would just call him Bob. I don't really think he's gonna do too much thinking, or have a name that means too much. It's just gonna be simple. But they look great, man. He first showed off. We saw at the very end, the last day of San Diego Comic Con. He showed us they're gonna have a smaller scale, and we saw that Banshee first, and then he brought out, which I didn't think. I was excited when we heard McFarlane, because recently they've been my favorite for that price point. Like just getting them there from like your Targets, your WalMarts, things like that. They're for me like the best bang for your buck right now in terms of the quality you get for the price. But I haven't really seen them go this deep into a line usually, besides like the DC figures with the DC multiverse. But to have like two scales right off the bat, because he brought out the huge banshees for like the 7-inch line, and you're getting the banshees to match that scale. That's that's pretty nuts.
Yeah, it's impressive, and that was such like a last minute thing at Comic Con because we were sitting around with anticipation the whole weekend, and we thought, no, not getting nothing this weekend, and then literally last second he was like, "All right, here's a banshee for you."
Yeah, they're kind of like, just show us something. He's like, all right, I got a banshee right here. Here we go. But you know what? We ate it up, so so it's okay.
We fully accepted it. We were like, "Yep, this is great, perfect. It's better than we thought we were getting." So
But he did mention we're getting the full lineup at D23, so that one we know for sure. So we'll see the full McFarland Toys Avatar line at D23. So I'm excited to see, can we get some RDA stuff at the scale, like an amp suit, you know, to see what else. Maybe not too much from the second movie right now as well, but especially for that first one, I wonder if we're getting more creatures. So I'm really pumped to see what we get from McFarlane Toys.
yeah, this is it. I think we could rely on them to produce some pretty good stuff.
Yeah.
So outside of that, is there any other merch you're hoping to see a bit of?
I think right off the bat, because I think in my house, I think the type of collectible we have the most are like Funko Pops. So Avatar Funkos are kind of like you almost have to do them, but you know what? I would probably get them because it'll even fit with a lot of our Disney merch. We get it just in Funko Pop form, so yeah, I'd be excited to see if we get some Funko Pops revealed for Avatar as well. Like starting with give me stuff from the first movie first, and then we'll see that second movie stuff later.
Yeah, I can. That seems like it's on the plate. It should. It will only be a matter of time for that sort of Funko Pop to appear, and I think it's easy enough for them to as well be like, you know what, we could release Avatar and the Way of Water ones can come out like just before the movie as well. Uh, for for me, I think what I really want to see more of. I like collecting pins and things like that. I think that's always quite fun. So Disney are like absolutely no like renowned for their pin collections. So a nice range of pins would be great.
Exactly. Oh yeah, my fiance loves those pins. Every time we go to the parks or anything, so we she has like little binders full of them. So yeah, that'll be good too.
So outside of our Avatar talk. There is the whole rest of D23 going on, which is just a exciting weekend all round. I think for everyone. So I'll leave it up to you. What would you like to focus on first?
um, I mean, we can stay in the studio showcase, because the one that Avatar is going to be a part of. We also have the other two big dogs that are in the the Disney family. You have the Marvel Studios and the Lucasfilm. So are you like into MCU and Star Wars? Because I don't think I've ever like fully asked you before.
Yeah, I am absolutely. I'm full in for both. I watch everything that's been put out, so I am very deep into both. I have a Chewbacca tattoo as well. He's sitting in one of
Oh
the.
wow,
He's in an ATS too. You know,
nice.
like in Return of the Jedi. Um, so yeah, anything Star Wars and Marvel, I'm always up for. Like, I always will give it a go. I don't, it's varying degrees of enjoyment lately on some of it.
That's exactly it. Yeah.
So I think for me, out of the two, I think Marvel has maybe made me more excited with what's possibly going to get launched over D23. Is that the same for you?
Easily, man. When other studios right now announce like two things, they announce, yeah, we'll give you 15. It's like we already know what we're getting Marvel wise for like the next like 3 years, and it's like 30 projects. It's their output. It is insane, and you have to commend it. But like you said, recently it's kind of been like I haven't been as high on it as I once was, but it's still one of those things where I have to give it a go and make my own opinion on them. But but yeah, I'm thinking they're gonna have the more exciting stuff right now than Star Wars, which to me kind of still seems like they're kind of fumbling a little bit. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I feel like Star Wars is really trying to find its feet again. It's hard because it feels like it should be such a simple slam dunk of a win. You know, it's Star Wars. How do you really fumble it too much?
Yeah,
But it feels like they're still really trying to figure out what they want to do with it. And I think Star Wars being moved from big screen events to his 2 or 3 series each year, I don't think that's worked for Star Wars quite yet. Andor's still to come out this year, and I've got high hopes for that. It looks good from what I've seen, but for me, Kenobi was not. It was nothing special. Kenobi, unfortunately.
same for me, man. Same for me. And I was really excited. We had just come off of another one that for me very disappointing was Boba Fett. Um, See, because right out of the gate they came out with the two Mandalorian seasons, and I just ate them up. Like I Loved the two Mando seasons. Not perfect, but to me they were like, I think the greatest, some of the greatest thing they have, the in the Disney era of Star Wars that has come out. Super fun, but I was like, okay, well, we had Boba Fett, and that was disappointing. But come on, Kenobi, which has been talked about for so long, I was like, there's no way that I'm not gonna, come out of this not loving it. You know what I mean? And I came out of it not loving it.
Yeah, it's such an odd one because it feels like it was so simple because people have been talking about a Kenobi series for forever, honestly, of what happened to Obi-Wan on Tatooine between 3 and 4. And they showed it, but I think they fleshed it out too much in terms of like trying to relate it back to other characters in terms of like having Leia in it, having Luke in it so much, and obviously so much Darth Vader in it, which, look, I'm more than happy for them if they want to keep using Darth Vader in a evil, menacing way, but we've seen so much Vader lately, and especially with stuff like, I feel like Rogue One kind of was its peak of, of using Vader in a different way, and we haven't really matched it since.
Yeah, that really probably should have been it, to be honest with you. That was an amazing scene in Rogue One. Like, that's one of my favorite Vader scenes, the hallway scene. But you're right, like it was like Vader was on screen and it just wasn't giving me the same, you know, just I don't know. I think like you said, there's a little it's losing its the mystique, it's losing its luster. I'm just ready to honestly move on from anything in this little like original Star Wars original trilogy period. It's like we're at the point where we're almost fleshing out every single day that ever had that, like what transpired on every single day in between the movies and before, and it's like, come on guys, like we're, let's move on. It's a giant galaxy and we're still trying to play with the same little characters and everything. And like you said, with the Kenobi series, it's like if you would have focused more on like what did this mean for Kenobi, uh, the little thing with them, not shown too much Vader, but still show. But like you said, you try to show too many other characters. You try to. There was the whole Riva storyline, which right there you were trying to, showing the thing between, her changing from the Padawan to the Inquisitor and what that meant to her, when that time could have been more used for Kenobi himself to show like him being torn or Darth Vader being torn, something like that.
Yeah, it felt like the idea of having a Padawan to an Inquisitor is such a good storyline. Like, why just make that its own series
Exactly.
and have her hunting Jedi? That's cool. Love it. Just it's because they so heavily rely on, oh, we need a big name on the front cover to sell this. And surely the Mandalorian has shown that that is not what you need. The Mandalorian's the one that works best because you got a whole new character.
Exactly.
Moving on to what D20, we know we're going to see a bit of at D23. So first up, Andor is released in a few weeks, so we're bound to see a little bit more of Andor. Um, we're hopefully going to see maybe something for Mandalorian season 3, I think. And the other one that we know we're definitely going to see some of is the Ahsoka series. Once again, another character coming back. Woo! Filling in those days.
It's like I loved Rebels, but I mean, and I am excited. Is Dave Filoni is I've loved everything that he's touched so far: Mandalorian, Rebels, Clone Wars, and I'm excited to see those characters in live action. But like you said, it's like I'm kind of more interested after that. I believe it's the Acolyte show where it's finally in a whole other time period that we're before even the prequels. So that show right there, the premise of that, I think has me more excited than any of these other ones at the moment.
Yeah, that's it. I need a different time period. I need something else. So the Acolyte one, that's not the same one as the Jude Law one, is it?
No, that one's called Skeleton Crew, and it should
Yes.
be at the same time period as the this little Mandoverse that they have building, and I'm excited for the Mandoverse, but we still know what's eventually going to come 30 years later, which is the sequel trilogy.
Yeah. But at least it's different characters, and
Yeah,
I just really hope they don't link it back to anyone that we know. I just really hope not. The other thing is there's a whole big old slot next Christmas for a Star Wars movie. Do we know what's actually filling that slot yet?
it was gonna be Rogue Squadron because that was the plan that Disney wanted for the next few years was, and it was a great plan. I heard it and I was like, fantastic. They wanted Avatar one Christmas, Star Wars movie the next, Avatar, Star Wars. So they just keep flip flopping back and forth between them. I was like, perfect, because Force Awakens, The Last Jedi, though the fact that when they came out in the Christmas time, I loved having like a Star Wars Christmas. It was kind of fun these last few years. Even Rise of Skywalker, you had Mandalorian. They kind of came out around that Christmas time as well. It was fun. So I was like, and they saw, hey, there is huge box office potential in the December, which, originally we saw with like Avatar. Um, but yeah, that was the plan, except it has seemed like they really just can't get a movie off the ground. It was Rogue Squadron was announced, and I was excited because it had Patty Jenkins, and she's her father was a fighter pilot. She get that little video was great, and it was not going to be original trilogy era. It was going to be past the sequel trilogy, so unknown territory. So I was like really intrigued, but then that kind of seems like it's entered development hell as well. So at this point, I don't know if we're getting a Star Wars movie next December.
Yeah, it's gone so quiet on that front because the only other one we know of is there's a Taika Waititi one at some point.
Yeah,
I don't expect that to be for next Christmas. There's very little chance that they're pulling a whole Star Wars movie out the bag within a year and 3-4 months. That's just
yeah, no,
too much of an ask. You and the way VFX teams are struggling at the minute, I can't see them wanting to do a Star Wars film in that time period.
exactly. No, he says he hasn't even started writing it. Like, would Lucasfilm probably want him to just hurry up, get a script together, shoot and just do it? Yeah, of course they would want it. But he's like, no, guys, I'm still working on the script, so be patient. He just got off of Thor: Love and Thunder, another huge movie, so his is probably at least another couple years away, maybe the 2025 slot. So I'm thinking, unless they have, they did manage to get one off the ground in secret, and they'll come and announce it at D23. I'm not really, holding my breath for a 2023 December Star Wars movie. Hopefully a 2025.
I sure hope so. I hope they get their act together with 3 years remaining. So, outside of Star Wars, let's move over to the MCU then. So, this is where it could go any direction, basically.
Oh god.
We could get either zero announcements or about 50. Uh, it sounds like it's more leaning towards the 50.
Yeah, we could even say in the middle and still have like 25.
Yeah, let's go for 25.
Oh my
Which of the
god.
announcements are you most excited for? Potential announcements, I should say.
You know what? It's probably going to be the rumored. They should eventually announce the X-Men cast, or just talk about X-Men in a broad sense in general. We know they're coming to the MCU at some point. Still don't know exactly when. But I think for me, the number one on my list that would really pique my interest would be the X-Men cast. Um, and then number two would probably be a Fantastic Four cast.
So I think, from what we understand, this seems like a lot of like industry talk. We know who the Fantastic Four director is now.
Oh, Matt Shackman, I think. I think he did WandaVision, right?
that's sort of exciting to me. He's already worked in the Marvel sphere, all good. WandaVision is great. I loved it. I don't see that going wrong, really. Aside from the fact Fantastic Four films have been all awful, really. Well, varying degrees of awful.
but I guess that is the proper word to use. But yeah, man. So hopefully, like you said, he's already had WandaVision, which honestly, out of these Disney Plus MCU shows, it's been my favorite. So right there, he was gonna do the Star Trek film, so he's already into science fiction and things like that. So I'm hoping that he can do it. He can knock it out. So yeah, I'm just excited to see what kind of what direction they're going with the Fantastic Four.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see if a lineup gets announced. I think that's what everyone's expecting right now.
Yeah.
I don't know if we'll get it because we've still got a few years till this Fantastic Four. We're actually 2 phases away from it currently, from this Fantastic Four film coming out,
That's
which is a bit
it's
crazy to think.
insane.
Because I think at one point it was meant to end Phase 4, and now it's starting Phase 6, which is quite the quite the jump back.
God. Yeah, it's just insane. This presentation they just had at San Diego was was insane. And they don't do them that often because they announce so much every time they do that it takes years to get to the point where they need to fill you in again on what's going to be like the next few years worth of content. The fact that they pretty much deliver on everything they always announce, it's just crazy. And looking at these, there's so many projects that were announced, and there's probably a lot that are going to be announced next, or for us this upcoming weekend. It's kind of nuts.
Yeah, so I'll just go quick. I'm going to do a speed run of this. Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania we'll probably get a trailer for. Secret Invasion probably get a trailer for. Guardians of the Galaxy 3 probably get some sort of trailer or teaser. We've got Echo, Loki season 2, The Marvels, Blade, Ironheart, Agatha, Coven of Chaos, Daredevil, Board Again, Captain America, New World Order. There's like more after that.
Oh
I
my
think.
god.
Oh, I think the Thunderbolts was there as well. Yep,
Oh yeah,
Thunderbolts.
that ends the phase 5, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah. And then Phase 6 was Fantastic Four and the two Avengers films, The Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars, which both come out the same year, which is a very bold move. Not many. I, look, not many times have franchises released two films in the same year of the same series. Certainly not. Obviously, MCU itself has done it, but not with the same starting name. The main one I can think of doing that is I think Matrix, the 2 and 3 did that. I think back in the day.
Oh yeah, you're right. I believe, yeah, they released that close together, yeah. But man, that is
It's a lineup. It's such a big lineup.
that's it sounds like homework. It
It
sounds like
does. And the problem is, I look at that list and I'm not as excited as I feel like I once was. And I don't know if
exactly.
it's because I know that there's so many series, and I look at the series and I'm like, do I want to commit to a full series of that? Like they said about the Daredevil one. I know everyone's super excited for another Daredevil series, but it's a full series, like 18 episodes, I think.
Oh yeah. Exactly. It's gonna be the longest one. I was like, oh my god. I mean, hey, I love the Netflix Daredevil, so I'm sure it's most likely gonna be great. But like you said, a lot of these, I'm kind of like, okay, that one will probably seem like a chore to get through. I really hope it's good. Okay, that's another chore. Oh, that one's a little bit exciting. Whereas, like you said before, it was like everything was like fire. Everything was like super exciting. Um, I don't know. It's just ever since Endgame, this Phase 4, I think what it is like I'm not too big on multiverses, whereas a lot of other people are that are probably eating all this content up right now. Me, like my biggest pet peeves in movies is like messing with time, so like time travel, except for Back to the Future. um, multiverses and things like that, because to me it just eliminates a lot of the stakes for me personally. When it's like, oh, I have like, if this version dies, it's okay. There's like 15 other, in all these infinite universe versions of this character. So um, I'm kind of hoping, like, please, with Secret Wars, let that be the end of it, and let's go back to, the first three phases like a singular thing.
Yeah, I think that's my hope as well. Is that I really wanted like the multiverse idea to be pushed further. It feels like they're playing it way too safe right now. Um, Doctor Strange was meant to be this like, oh my god, it's crazy that everything's going on. We're going through the multiverse, and it was very tame. Like the multiverse was, there's about three Doctor Stranges. There's a different version of a few characters that you already know, and that's about it. And I thought, man, is this as risky as they'll go with it? And because it came out the same sort of time period as Everything Everywhere All at Once, which did multiverse better, it's sort of crazy to me that we're even having to see, like we're having to compare like a low budget film to this like huge blockbuster.
Exactly, man. Yeah. Uh, everywhere, everything, everywhere, all at once was just, that was like, I think it's probably my favorite of the year so far. And it's crazy, really close to the Doctor Strange release too. And I'm like, this one just did the whole multiverse so much better. um, but oh man, yeah. I don't know. Like I said, I'm just, for me right now, I didn't really like multiverse to begin with, so right now it's kind of lost me when it comes to that. Shang-Chi was amazing. Like, I love that movie, and that's because it really had nothing. It didn't really touch on any of that. So that one right now has been my favorite of these last bunch that have come out, at least for me.
Yeah, I agree. I think that one felt the first time it felt closest to what a Phase One movie felt to me, in terms of we're doing a character introduction. Here's their own story and a lot of lore in their own story that's gonna feel very fleshed out without uh, having it connect to everything else around it all the time. Obviously there's a few connections, but it's not so heavy on it that it relies on it.
That's exactly it. You're right, because it felt like those first Iron Man, Thor, where it was like, it was a Thor movie. Captain America, it was a Captain America movie. You got, for Thor, it's like you got to learn about Asgard, and you got all his lore. And like you said, there were some connections, of course, but it wasn't like it was depending on the connections. You kind of were like, wow, I like this character. I love his whole mythology and setting. Now now the fun part was like, let's plug him and then mix him in with the other ones, and now let me see how that works out. You know what I mean? So yeah, you're right. That's exactly the why I like Shang-Chi. Yeah.
So outside of what we already know is announced and the possible announcement of like X-Men and Fantastic Forecasts, is there much more that you're expecting to hear from Marvel this weekend? It feels like they've already laid out their plans for the next 2 years.
It's almost like I hope not, because it's just like, fill in a few of those phase 6 slots, and then I think I'm good. I think I'm good knowing phase 5 and phase 6, and I know where phase 6 ends with Secret Wars. I think if you fill in a little bit like that, sprinkle in some X-Men, and let give me a little bit more info on Fantastic Four, I think I'm okay. um I mean, I'm excited to see more of, like, certain characters come into the MCU, like Blade, kind of like their interpretation on certain characters. But yeah, I think with those two phases filled in, if they fill in more of those boxes for Phase 6, I think I'm pretty good. How about yourself?
Yeah, I don't I don't really need more announcements. The one I'm expecting them to do, and it's gonna come with a visit from the actor, is there's probably gonna announce Deadpool 3. And then Ryan Reynolds will show up on stage in the Deadpool costume, probably the Deadpool costume, and he's probably wearing Snow White dress or something as well, just to, because look, I'm at Disney.
Oh, I can't wait for the marketing for that movie.
I mean, I'm interested to see what they do with it. It's an interesting challenge, I think, in that they have to fit within the Disney framework with this character who is basically entirely like polar opposite to it, and I think they can make it work.
Exactly. And at least they did say, which was the biggest worry for us, for like everybody, was like, oh no, is it now going to have to be, PG-13? Does he have to, fit in with the ratings of the other movies? But no, they said it might only be this one, just him, but it is going to be rated R. So that's at least we know, hopefully, that they're not going to, restrain it in any way. But I actually think like there's so much material they can go so meta, now being part of Disney, that I can't wait to see the what they come up with in the script, because you can have so many jokes, just ripping into Disney like every second of like Deadpool 3.
And I think that's the one way that multiverse kind of works in its favor, in that Deadpool as a multiverse character works really well because there's a lot of variety. One thing I would absolutely kill for is I love the comic, the Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe comic, and I'd love to see them in some way do Deadpool Kills the MCU. They will never do it because that goes entirely against what the MCU is about. Um, but if they let him loose in one of the versions of the multiverse to just kill all the versions of the characters we love, why not? It'll be just fun for a one-off.
Hey, how about an animated one-off, kind of like their what ifs? It would be an amazing like what if, either a what if episode or its own little limited series. Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe. Bring Ryan Reynolds back, obviously, to voice, because like you said, they would never allow that in like a live action, but they could even have so much more fun in an animated way. So, oh my god, now I need to see that. That's how I would want it.
All right, that's the call for Disney to hire me for Deadpool Kills the MCU animated edition.
There you go.
All right, outside of our big three, Avatar, Star Wars, and Marvel, is there anything else at D23 that you're got any excitement for?
Here in my house, we love literally all the rest of the Disney animated movies, their live action movies, Pixar movies. So honestly, even the day before Friday, I'll be glued to the information on that, because I love those movies. And I'm trying to see, we get Pinocchio debuting on Disney Plus Day, which is the Thursday before. But I mean, I can't even really think of like what they really have coming out.
Off the top of my head, I'll say a couple that I know that they're sort of working on. So they've got a Little Mermaid live action, which I think has filmed, so we could be getting a trailer. We've got the Enchanted sequel, Disenchanted. We have Haunted Mansion coming out, which is a live action, which I am super excited for. Love anything Haunted Mansion. I mean, this is not Disney really, but they're doing a Muppets Christmas Carol 30th anniversary panel, which I'm really excited for because they'll probably release like a 4K version of Muppets Christmas Carol with the song that's always missing from the normal version, and it's the best song possible, and people are very rude for taking it out.
Oh man, that'd be cool. Oh, and then I know there a lot of people are excited for the second Hocus Pocus movie as well.
Yeah, because that's coming out in I think either end of September or October, perfect for Halloween.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So
I mean, there's so much to be excited for. Like, regardless, we're probably going to get some like Disney Park news as well. I think they've finally announced when the Tron coaster's opening. That's been building for the
yeah,
last 4 or 5 years now at Magic Kingdom. I don't know how it's taken
exactly.
that long. Even with COVID, it shouldn't have taken this long. But yeah, that's another exciting thing for whenever I eventually get back over to the US to enjoy some Walt Disney World.
Yeah, because the previous D23, it was like the big focus was the Galaxy's Edge at the time. So that was exciting. I don't know if they'll have like a huge one to match that scale, because I believe the one before that was the Pandora, the world of Avatar. Yeah,
Yeah, I don't think they can even match anything like that unless they announce an entirely new park, but I don't think they have the budget for that right now.
yeah, and I've heard they the cutting back right now at the moment. So I'm hoping that in the future, we can potentially get like a little bit of an expansion to the Pandora land at the Animal Kingdom. Something including, new material from like the sequels, maybe one more ride or something like that. I think they said they had the space for like one more ride. So I'm hoping, if they're successful, like adding one of those. Because I heard the big e-ticket ride, like what they call like their main attractions, was actually not the Flight of Passage, unless I'm mistaken. But I think they never built what they originally had intended as their big attraction. Flight of Passage and the Navi River Journey were, not the main attractions. But then Flight of Passage ended up being now, I believe, like one of the most popular rides in all of Walt Disney World.
Yeah,
Um,
that ride was getting like 4 5 hour queues every day for the first like
God.
year.
It looks amazing. I can't wait to go. I'm hoping soon. Hoping hopefully next year finally make the trek over there. But
Well, I know that there is space, as you said, there is space for another attraction, and the idea that they haven't even built the big one yet is exciting. And maybe it's something that they've kind of got on going on in their head, their mind. Like, we'll work on this behind the scenes. No one needs to see it until it's sort of ready.
exactly. Exactly. That would be great. With the like I hopefully it's filled with like a lot of elements from these sequels, and maybe that's why we've never really heard, because I've never even heard whispers of like, I know it was some kind of roller coaster, like an actual roller coaster, but other than that, I haven't seen any other details like leak of what it was supposed to be. So I'm hoping with these Avatar becomes like a huge pillar in the Disney empire in these years to come.
Yeah, is there anything you're looking for, like any final thoughts on D23?
No, I think I'm finally, the rest of this week I'm like I'm done theorizing for what will what will come, and I'm kind of just excited to actually experience what they choose to announce, even if maybe us that don't get to attend, we don't see the most exciting thing like the footage and all that. It's still gonna be super fun to I'm all the whole weekend. I know I'm just gonna be perusing all the reactions the day of. I know I'm just gonna be getting like literally the on the second from people that are there. They usually tweet out, okay, they're about to show the James Cameron presentation or whatever Avatar. So I know I'm gonna be following it, and to actually see the merchandise, which we will and just to see everything that they're gonna have coming out. So I'm just super excited. I'm kind of like I just can't wait for the weekend. Yeah, any final thoughts from you on the D23?
Honestly, I feel like I'm the same for you. I'm feeling really zen about it, which is quite nice. I'm not like
Yeah,
getting myself
yeah.
too worked up because you know what? For me, I've just got this feeling we're not going to see the trailer now. I know a couple weeks ago I was adamant trailer, we will see it. Why wouldn't we see it? But I think now it feels like because of the re-release, they're going to push that first. And what better way to push the re-release than say, "Hey, look, guess what, guys? You can see a bit of Avatar too if you go see the first one."
Yeah. See, and you're right. And the Avatar guy, when we did our last live stream, see, kind of the because the way I was originally thinking of it was, oh no, they'll definitely show us, because to make it exclusive to the re-release. In my head, what I was thinking was, how would they push the traffic for Avatar 2? And I was thinking, oh well, exclusive to the re-release, that's gonna already be the crowd that was gonna see Avatar 2 anyways. But the way I didn't think about it was, for them focusing on, no, let's work on how can we push the traffic for the re-release, and like that, making the trailer exclusive to the re-release, the new trailer, that would push more people to go see the re-release, and push it back past the 3 billion that we know our friend Avatar guy can't wait for. 154, 52, something like that, he said. So, but so in terms of that, I think that'll be a genius move, and hopefully, like you said, another maybe little behind the scenes mixture of footage and behind the scenes featurette, something along that sort. Hey, maybe a opening scene, maybe.
Hey, I'll take anything, honestly. Whatever they want to give me.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to say thank you for coming on today. It's been a pleasure having you on to chat some D23. I know it's nice for you to have a chance to chat some non-Avatar stuff for a little bit.
Right, right. I feel like I almost never have a chance to talk when I have so many interests, but right now it's been just Avatar. So it's really nice, and thank you so much for even inviting me, man. I had a blast today. Thank you so much.
So where's the best place for people to find you?
Just youtube.com. I'm there under Discovering Pandora. I'm also on Twitter and Instagram, also just under Discovering Pandora.
Awesome. And yep, so best place to find this podcast is, well, I'm always on Twitter. That's the best place to find me first and foremost. And I would love to hear what people think of D23. Hey, what do you guys think is going to happen at D23? If you listen to this after D23, probably don't say what do you think is going to happen, because it's already happened.
Let us know what we got wrong.
Yeah, exactly. Please tell me how much I got wrong. Probably all of it, if I'm honest. We'll see.
Exactly.
We'll see. So yeah, thank you a lot for coming along. Thank you for listening, and I hope you have a lovely day. Goodbye.